Hey, welcome to our exciting Thanksgiving Eve YOML episode. I think today we're on 163. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't believe we're on 163. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is wild. I mean, we had a lot of fun and there's plenty more to come.
For sure.
So today we want to talk about Timekeeper.
Yeah.
So let Chris introduce the book and let you in on his reflection and we can talk about it.
Yeah. Well, since it's Thanksgiving Eve, I do have a glass of wine. It's the official drinking holiday of
Okay.
America. This
Fortunately, I
one.
can't
Yeah.
drink it.
I know you're not a drinker, but
Drink it. Not
yeah.
even if I wanted to. I can't do it. Physically, I can't do it.
I was actually talking to a couple of my Canadian colleagues today. We
Mhm.
having like a meeting about some stuff, and they actually do have a Canadian Thanksgiving. I didn't even know this, and it's in October, and they got that day
Mhm.
off for the company I work for. We were meeting today like as a normal date, and I'm like, guys, it's 3:30 on the day before Thanksgiving. Can we just wrap this up? It's the day before the holiday. And they're like, oh, I forgot about American Thanksgiving, and what do you guys even celebrate? Anyway, I don't want to go down to the whole conversation, but I ended up explaining to them because they didn't really understand like what American Thanksgiving was all about. And I was like, look, here's how it goes. The day before Thanksgiving is the biggest drinking holiday of the year. All the kids come home from college, they haven't seen each other for a long time, and you're coming back to your hometown. So you go out to the bars, and it's like a big festival, big party. They're like, oh, that's interesting. They're like, I never thought about that. And I was like, yeah. And then Thursday, we just eat ourselves into a coma all day long. And,
It's just
like,
just food and football. I mean, that's
yeah. And then Friday, we shop all day. So it's a lot of eating and football and then shopping. And then
yes.
Saturday and Sunday, we
The
recover.
coma, the food coma, and the shopping to the drop coma.
We just do it all to excess the next 3 days, and
I
that's
mean, I
America in
think
a
if you
nutshell.
think most of the retailers make most of their revenue
Oh yeah,
Thanksgiving, right?
yeah.
It's actually even more than Christmas.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
way more. Who's buying Christmas presents after Christmas? Why would you do that? The whole point is to buy,
Yeah, so they
after
buy
Thanksgiving.
Black
Right.
Friday, and then Cyber Monday. Since with the advent of the internet, Cyber
Yeah,
Monday starting becoming big as well. And so, I mean, these make the whole year revenue by
for
this
sure.
month.
What's funny is I was getting emails these days. These days I get emails 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, like Black Friday sales. Now it's like a 3-week shopping holiday. Actually,
Now it's a
basically, it
three
goes through
months.
Christmas. Yeah, exactly. It's bizarre. Actually, the Canadian colleagues of mine were like, we actually do Black Friday. I was like, well, how do you guys do Black Friday? They're like, well, all the people down in the States, like they would offer all these discounts, and a lot of people started buying products from like, companies or American companies. So they had to compete. Now they do Black Friday. The only reason we do Black Friday is because of Thanksgiving. You have the day off, but we do it, like that's really
Yeah,
weird.
they need to move their Thanksgiving.
Back to November if you're gonna
I
Canadians,
don't
right?
know.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the reflection for the day. So this book is the Timekeeper by Mitch Albom. So if you remember Mitch Albom, he was the one that wrote Tuesdays with Morrie, right? And
Hmm.
I really love that book a lot. It's probably one of my top 25 favorite books that I've read on this journey so far. And I figured, Mitch, I'll give him a shot again. So he's a great. Tuesdays with Morrie was like a nonfiction book, but this one was one of his fiction books that he wrote. It was about Father Time, basically. He was the guy that first invented the world's first clock, and he got punished by God, and he got banished to this cave for centuries to listen to all the voices who would come and ask him, seeking more days and more years, and he was just stuck in his cave. And finally, he was granted his freedom at one point in time, and then he ended up encountering this girl who is like a teenage young girl who wants to end her life, and then he meets this guy whose name is Victor, who's like a businessman that wants to live forever, and he is trying to teach them the value of time to help save himself. I don't know that I love the story that much, to be honest with you. It was interesting. It made me think a little bit, and what it made me think about was values, or how I keep track of my time these days. I started off this reflection just talking about time today. It's a pretty ingenious invention for humanity. I don't know if you remember this, but back in Sapiens, when it talked about how modern day time was first invented because of train travel in England, they couldn't figure out when people would get from town to town at the right time to start the factories and operate production. That was why time and Greenwich Mean Time developed in England, because they had to say, hey, we need you all here at this factory at this time. So people were coming in from that was like the first time in human history where people had to like coordinate themselves via time to be able to a certain place at a certain time, kind of thing, to be able to produce the means of society and the production of society. As you know, I'm not teaching anything new here, but like, the modern time these days, there's time gurus, there's productivity gurus, there's time management gurus, there's, we wake up every single day with our alarm clock from our cell phone, and then we immediately jump out of bed, smash some food real fast, get the kids ready for work, get everybody out of the door, get them off to daycare, get them back home, meeting to meeting, eat some food, meeting, pick up the kids, get back home, smash a little bit more food, get them all to bed and maybe watch a little bit of television and then do it all over again, right? Like everything is run off of time, like I mean, we are time, like, machines, and for me personally,
Well, now I think we're not time machines. We're time slaves.
time slaves. Yes, no, that's a better way to say it. Before Amelia, my favorite thing to do was checking to-do lists off my time. There was no better feeling than to run through a million tasks in a day and then at the end of the day sit back, have a glass of wine and watch some TV or something like that. That felt good. I got a lot accomplished today, and the truth is that I did get a lot of stuff accomplished, but it was really all over the place. For me personally, everything changed for me when Amelia was born. Time stopped for me. Everything I cared about, the checking to-do lists, getting stuff done, work time management, personal time management, and all that. All the random shit you do in a course of a day and just checking more and more boxes. It just literally stopped. The only thing I cared about was spending time with Amelia and her life. She taught me so much about the value of time in general. I saw her every single day, just embrace everything that it was to be a human and really saw for the first time in my life what the value of time really was. And it was just being a human and understanding the incredible range of the human condition, the beauty of it and the tragedy of it, and show me what a life was really about and how you're supposed to live. When we lost her, time just stopped. I don't know that I even cared at all if anybody else in this world existed or if any other thing that I had to do existed or where I had to be even existed. I didn't care. I didn't look at my schedule. I didn't do anything. I didn't give a shit at all that stuff that felt so important. That was my entire sense of being, to be honest with you. Before Amelia, it just evaporated into thin air. Luckily for me, Amelia showed me a different path of living, and that was guided by values and how to be a human versus a clock in general. Every day since I've lost her, that's obviously been a big part of that. And this is what I try to do, is try to do my best to follow in her footsteps. And values is how I measure my days each day, and not time anymore. And it feels really fulfilling. I know that if I look back at the end of the day, when I leave this world, like all have been very, very happy knowing that's kind of the Viktor Frankl question. You see yourself as an old person, like 90 years old or something like that, and you're looking back in your life, like that is how I measure my effectiveness in my life. Did I know who I was, and did I do those things every single day? I don't really give a shit about time anymore. I could be gone tomorrow and I don't care. I know that if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing every single day, I'll be happy, and I am. So yeah, that was a reflection. That was what this book made me think about. Question is how do you measure the impact of your time in this world? Love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, so for me, I think time is a man-made construct, right?
100%.
And so it doesn't apply to you as much, because for me, I see everybody is on a hamster wheel. And it makes me think that the hamster wheel is even not their hamster wheel. It is society's hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about it, you go on a hamster wheel, for each of those little ring on a hamster wheel, right? It represents a mark in an interval. Like it's a milestone. You think about a milestone, a mile marker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like whatever your life is, there is a marker that is supposed to track your path, right? So time is nothing more than a construct to mark the path for which we need to go. Like for most of us, we are on this hamster wheel. And the hamster wheel is not even our hamster wheel. It's actually society's hamster wheel, because you have to get up at 6:30. You have to get your kids out at the school at 7:15. That's not your hamster wheel. The society hamster wheel. You go to a meeting, people set up a meeting, right, at a certain time and say, hey, I invite Chris. Chris got to go to attend this meeting. And then after that, lunchtime, people open at a certain time, people close at a certain time. This is a hamster wheel, right? So for me, time is nothing more than you are the hamster in a hamster wheel that goes nowhere. It just goes circle and circles. The thing is, time is a man-made construct. There's no such thing as time. There are such thing as like cycles. Like the sun has a cycles. You have cycles. There are cycles, but each cycles are different. Like moon cycle is different from the sun cycle. Your seasonal cycle, it's going to be different than many other cycles. So you also have your own cycles. Mm-hmm. Those are your times. Yeah. So your cycle can say, I am on this learning curve cycle, right? I mean, you are, sometimes you go on to learning cycle, meaning sometimes you learn and then you go on a loop. And then, So from the quote unquote time perspective, You need to create your own time. What is the next piece of milestone or next piece of marker that you want to achieve? Like, hey, I want to achieve, to be, completely peaceful in a year. I want to have a book. I want to have a podcast. So those markers should be your timeline or cycle, your cycle markers, right? Because I think time is like a construct to kind of get everybody to be in sync,
to organize society,
to organize people to come to work at the same time. But at the same time, it's a pros and cons, right? Because the pros is that you get everybody on the same wheel, same hamster wheel, but then it is not your hamster wheel, it is someone else's hamster wheel, and you're running it and you're enslaved to it. And so time is important if you want to interact with people, but at the same time, you need to experience your own cycles of whatever it is you want to do. For me, I don't like to be in somebody else's timeline. The reason for that is so go back to one of my favorite quote is, we don't work for train, right? You don't work for train, I don't work for train. This is what I mean by when time, you don't want to go on that hamster wheel. Because the train goes it stops at a certain time, right? I don't catch it. I'm not going to run for it, right? Because I have my own time. I don't want to meet somebody if I have something else I want to do, right? So, and if somebody wants to meet with me, well, they're going to have to wait until the next cycle. I'm not going to change my schedule to do that. And that have made me a more peaceful person. I've been less stressful because of that. We need to take control of these higher markers that we have in our life, and that should represent our time. I really like the way that you put that together in terms of saying your values or your timekeeper, right? Right. So your values, how you keep your time these days.
Yeah, that's all I really care
so
about.
It isn't the time, because when we think about the time, it referenced that somebody else's hamster wheel, not yours. So that's why when you take your values and you say, well, I want to achieve this value, that value, the other value, you are controlling your own time and your own path, and you mark the tick, right? Each tick on a time is made specifically for you, or is made nonsensical by everybody has a tick, right? There's number of ticks in the cycles, and every single time has a number of ticks, which is seconds. And so that's the thing is, we, for whatever reason, have been more drone-like or more, like the identity crisis that we have today. It's just everybody is doing something that's universal. And everybody don't want to be universal. They want to be separate. And so that causes a lot of depression. It causes a lot of dreadful feelings and hated towards societies and all these things. I mean, that's why when we talk about it's running out of the train, and then they can't catch it, and then they get exhausted, and then other things happen,
or they're anxious about waiting for the next train, or
it's just out of control. And the thing is, the world has come to shit. If you ask people, do you think that the human race will exist in 100 years? No, we become extinct. Majority of people are going to have a sentiment. It's because it goes against our nature. We see in Humankind, the book Humankind, right? And we see the opposite, because we are being forced to be something we're not. So go back to what we were saying before is, it's still along the same theme as what we talk about for company, is you have to become more individual to enjoy your specific character trait. Because you are born a certain way, you can't try to be someone else. Same thing with a beaver has his own cycle. So you can't follow another person's cycle, another animal's cycle. And for us, we also have a different cycle. We some people go faster than others, some people like a slower pace. But for us to be all on the same pace, we have to get on the same time. So you and I have to be at a certain meeting at a certain time
to exchange values, but not because we need to be there at a certain time, but to exchange values. Like that is why we get together every single night. Like that is 100% why we get together every single night. That is the fourth generation or the seventh generation committee meeting. That is the point.
I think your cycles and my cycles are different because for me, I like it slow. Meaning, like, in one day, I probably want to accomplish only one thing. You probably want to do 5 things and check them out. I say, well, I get to it when I get to it. So, you know what I mean? Even though there's time in society and there's hamster wheel, and I do recognize it, and I can jump on when I want to jump on, But we need to recognize that we have our own wheels and we need to jump off society's wheel whenever we need to.
Right.
So
I agree. Yeah.
like if you have a tennis match, a Monday night football ticket, right? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's no big deal, right? I'm not gonna say, oh man, I have to do this. How can I make this work? Let me do something. I'm not gonna say, well, if it doesn't work, then we just say, hey, let's see what happens. Right. I don't really want to spend my effort and think about how I can shift my schedule or your schedule to accomplish something. If you have a Monday night ticket to see a football game, let's go, and then I'm not gonna be sad, and because that's the way that my cycle is, right? I'm not running for train, so I understand that things gonna happen, and I'm not expecting you to be here every single night. When you understand that you have your own wheels, right, and then that hey, other person has their own wheels as well. All you have to do is connect to when all those wheels meet, like or have this overlap. Then you meet up, and you exchange value. But in recognizing that you go on your own cycles, you read at a certain speed that you're comfortable. If you read at a fast speed, then enjoy a fast speed. If you read at a slow speed, enjoy a slow speed. So you know what I mean? So like I say, hey, a lot of people, like for me, like I say, I like the fast speed in the Audible. Most people like the slow speed. For me, I like a slow pace in life versus a fast pace in life, right? Because you look at, for example, like let's say you want to invest in stocks, right? You want to win, you want to make money right away. You want to make money in an hour, right? I don't say, well, I'll make money in a month. My cycles, my expectations are different. And then other people, they hey, I'm a day trader. I want to make money in the next 15 minutes and get out and try some more. They are on a fast speed, really fast. Versus me, I like the Mexican fisherman. I want to go out, fish for a little bit, for a couple hours, come back with a few fish, take one home and sell 3, or give it away, whatever. And then, the next, spend the rest of my time just walking around.
You'll get to where you're going when you get there, like, and
exactly. I get there when I get there.
Like, yeah. I mean, and that's totally fine. You should do exactly that. That's how life should work. You should be doing the stuff that you want to do because it matters to you. Get to where you're going. When you get there, wherever you go, there you are. It's a book we'll talk about in the future. It's okay to not be on this go.
It's just the best way.
Right.
Because you think about it, like I said before, you want to go on vacation, right? You say, well, I got to pack up, hurry up and pack. And hurry up and get on the plane. Airplane, hurry up and take off.
Travels.
And then say, hurry up and land.
Just thinking about airport travel. Oh, God, I hate it so much.
But that's what I'm saying. You got to hurry up and do everything. Say, hurry up and fly. Hurry up and get... So airplane lands, so hurry up and land the plane. Hurry up and open the door so you can get out. Okay, you hurry up to get in, then you hurry up to get out, and then you hurry up to do your vacation, then you hurry up to go home. Right. So it's not like the destination is where you want to be. Right. You just want to move. You want to be where you are not, right? That's the thing. Your cycles are complete. These are cycles, right? Because it's not like you say, well, I love the beach and I stay there. People say, I love the beach, so I'm taking my vacation. So they hurry up and pack. Stress to pack all this stuff, hurry up and go to the airport, go stress out of the airport, go on an airplane, and fit at the time say, hurry up, anxiety, and say, hey, I need the plane to take up. Why it takes so long? Why's the delay? What the hell? Right? And then the plane takes off, and then, when are we landing? Let's go land. And then when the land comes in, say, okay, why are we opening the door? Why can't I get out? Why is it delayed? What's the pilot trying to do? And then when you get out, I say, where's my luggage? Why is my luggage take so long? So that's the thing, is it's a cycle. And then you go home and then you say, hurry up, unpack. And then hurry up, go back to work. It's always hurry, hurry, hurry. This is like the cycles of society. It tells you have to do these things. But you notice that you went on this vacation, but not really a vacation because you're anxious all the way through.
It's more stressful than it is. I always get sick when I go, especially for work travel. I always get sick whenever I travel for work. I'm so on somebody else's time. I got to wake up earlier. I got to get to some conference we're going to or some customer meeting at 8 a.m. Normally I'm writing at that point in my comfy hoodie in my office when I'm reflecting and going to work out. I still do all this stuff when I travel, but then I just got to get up at 5 a.m. and get it all done before I get to this place. And then all day long sitting in the conference room staring at a screen going, when the fuck are we going to get out of here? Because next person's coming in, the next person's coming in. And it's just like, oh my God, nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to do this stuff. It reminds me of the book When Breath Becomes Air, the reflection from that. It's on your values. That guy spent his whole life trying to be a doctor. He ground himself into the floor trying to be the resident, because in the future he'll be able to do XYZ. He wrote about this a lot. Like, hey, I'm okay with working 18-hour shifts and never sleeping and never taking a vacation, because someday I'll be able to be a full-on whatever the positions are at whatever hospital he wants to be at, because it'll all be worth it. And then
one day it happens.
Atomic bomb hit, and you're like, what do I want to do? What's a fulfilling life? It wasn't that he didn't like helping people. It was just that he, you know, going to his doctor was like, you know, focus on your values. Like, that's, if you want to unlock the, if you want to really make your time, maximize your time, you know, you have, which is not long, whether or not you think 100 years is long or
it's not,
long.
like I say, it's long. Not that if you are on somebody else's milestone or timeline, it is not yours, so you can't count them. Yes. Think about your memories, right? Your memories only count to the time or the event that means something to you, whether it's a wedding day, your high school, you know, whatever, some special event that it resonate with what you value. This is why I like what you say in terms of your value is how you track your time, because your value is what you remember. Because everything else you do is somebody else's timeline. And when you are on somebody else's timeline, it's like you're on a treadmill that is running faster than you're supposed to, or slower than your pace, right? Yeah. If I run at like 3 on a treadmill, they have these numbers like, you know, 3 whatever, like 3.0. I don't know what it is, but you know, people go at 5, right? Imagine me, my pace is 3, and I jump onto somebody else's treadmill and go to 5. I'm physically exhausted. Right, so trying to catch up with people who's at the meetings and, hey, you know, I gotta get at 6 a.m. to do whatever, when my normal wake up hours is going to be like 7, 8, or 9, right? So for me to get up at 5 a.m. is like trying to speed up my own timeline to coincide with society. And to me, that is something I'm trying to jump off of. I don't want to be on somebody else's timeline. I don't want to feel anxious, because I've done it before in my younger years. I mean, I've run a business and I don't like it at all. I don't like that. But, you know, it doesn't have to be that way. That's what I'm saying. No, you can determine your own time and say, well, if you take up the philosophy of, you know, I don't run for train, it actually helps you. Because if you ask me to say, hey, can I make this time? I will be honest with you. If I can, I will say yes. If I can't, and I won't. I don't do that anymore. And it creates a whole lot more stable mental state.
Well, it's integrity, right? It's being true to yourself and understanding what you care about and what you don't, and staying true to that. You make such a good point about when you're doing behaviors and actions that align to your values. That's what you remember in your life. When I think back to high school, the only things I remember are tennis, my tennis team, the times we spent together, training and stuff we did together. I was on other teams. Like, I just didn't really care about those other things. I only did them to stay active, and it was just a chore. I think about this class theater productions that I was in. I don't know why. I really enjoyed it, but I wasn't a theater person.
Your memory is actually your timeline, because, you know, tell me about your life from the beginning to now. And that is your timeline. If you don't remember for like the 5 years span, you're on somebody else's timeline. You're not on your own timeline.
In college, what I remember is my fraternity, spending time with my meaningful relationships there and having fun. I remember my wife and spending time with her and meeting her. Econ 368, we've talked about multiple times, the philosophy of economics. I remember the business classes where I got to do case studies and really chop those things up. Those were always meaningful for me. I remember like art appreciation. For some reason, that class, I remember wine tasting, because we had a class that was wine appreciation. That was one of my favorite classes. These are the things that I remember. This is the only, and it's not surprising that these are the things that I still care about today, right? Yeah, exactly.
I remember because it's you, right? Because, you know, that's what I'm saying. If you're doing things that is who you are, you're going to remember, and that's your timeline. And so imagine you doing somebody else's timeline. They stole time away from you. Your time actually collapses when you're doing things that doesn't align with your values.
I mean, it actually infuriates me thinking about it. I've ever since Amelia and ever since this journey, I've never owned my own time as much as I own it now.
I recognize that I'm following somebody else's timeline, and I don't remember much just because that's not who I am, and I don't want. My brain suppresses those memories.
It is. I mean, it sucks. It's just boring. My favorite work memories were ones where I was on projects where I just got to create and be innovative and explore and learn and build new projects. Those are the projects that I think about all the time. They're the most engaging and meaningful. And then the times when I got to lead people. Those are always the times. I don't remember a single big deal that I've ever closed in my life. I don't remember a single quarter or month where I was top of the charts. I know it happened all the time. I don't even remember the rewards that I got. I don't remember any of that. I'm not even being stupid about it. Because it didn't matter to me. It never mattered to me. What always mattered to me was the people I was around, helping to lead other people, coach other people, and help them succeed. The sports that I play, like the tennis, and in terms of work, when I was given a problem and people were like, just go do you. And I'm like, great. I got to go learn so much. I would learn rapidly on my own all day long. Hey, I learned this. This is what we should try in this path. What do you think? Great, do it. Okay, now I did it. I learned this, and now we should try this path. I went and I learned to this other stuff. Great, go do it. It was always me living my values. Those are the jobs that I remember that I loved the most. Those are the activities I remember in those jobs. But when I was in jobs that I hated, I don't remember a fucking thing from my entire time at Salesforce. I don't remember an entire, beyond the people that I worked with that were always great, I don't remember a single thing that I did that I found value in at all, ever. That just sucks.
I mean, like I said, you don't remember because that's not yours. It's not your event. It's not your milestone. It's not your tick mark, right? How time has every tick, right? It is universally, if every tick represents a milestone for everybody.
Right.
And that's how we synchronize our point in time in cycles. You are trying to overlap a certain markers to meet up as an encounter. So me meeting you is an encounter, an event, right? And it's always an event because it's always it's going to overlap each one of our quote unquote timeline or cycles, whatever your life cycle is. My life cycle be different than your life cycle.
For sure.
And my memory timeline is going to be different than your memory timeline.
For sure.
And if you don't remember it, it's not yours.
I agree.
Because it wasn't, you're not beavering, you're doing, foxing or
you're foxing. Yeah, you're totally right. I will never forget these conversations with you, no matter how old I am, or how much, if we never even talk to each other ever again, if I'm 90 years old, I'll never forget, we went through 163 episodes. If this is the last time that you and I ever talked, I'd be like, man, Drew and I spent 163 nights together where we talked about our thoughts and cared about the same stuff. I won't ever forget that. It'll never, and I'll always feel fulfilled, right? Because this is fulfilling. You told me right before this conversation. I just look forward to an hour of chatting at the end of the day about this kind of stuff, right? It matters, Yeah.
It does. That's just like when I went through the core values quest and I was the mentor for Amber, right? The things we talk about, I remember because I'm telling her what I feel. I'm telling her what I think. And those conversations, it's still vivid. But other conversation, even like 2 days ago with somebody else, I have no clue. I don't even remember.
You're so right.
The conversation that matters to me. Whatever the topic was, I remember that was what I struggled to recall it. It's just there, right? It's easily accessible. And so for me, having the time, and especially having a time that is actually joyful to you because it is who you are, it resonates with your faculties, then that time seems joyous. It not seems dreadful because, whatever the case, the thing is, you think about it, what you do and what I do are different, but what I enjoy and what you enjoy are different, right? Yeah. So for me to sit down and program and get something to work digitally, it makes my day. But for you, you have to talk to somebody. It makes your day. So the thing is, that's what I'm saying is because my faculty is to internalize a lot of these simulations, that's what brings me joyful memories. You talking to people brings you the joyful memory. For me, talking to people may not even bring joyful memory, maybe even bring anxiety, right? You think about it, a programmer, they don't like to talk. They don't like to be on camera. Most people that goes onto these project meeting, right? They're not on camera.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because every company that you talk to is different. And it's always funny when you talk to the companies that are never on camera and you're talking to technical people that are never on camera.
Yeah, technical people don't like to be on camera.
It's like,
they don't enjoy it. They don't enjoy it. And so those memories, they're either going to suppress or it's going to have a negative memory, right? Because you and I enjoy the memory of things that bring us joy. I mean, bring us joy because the joy has nothing to do with whether you do this or that or the other. It's whether what you did is a reflection of you. If I'm a programmer, what I did is reflection of me as a
Exactly.
programmer. Therefore, I enjoy it. But if you do the same thing I did, hey, Chris, I enjoy programming. That's not going to be the case, because you're going to sit down and you're going to say, what the hell is this? You're looking at the symbols all day long.
Right. I would go.
How is this joyful to you? You must be, crazy.
It would drive me nuts. It'd be like looking at contract law, you know, like and redlining shit all day long. Like that's just not the way my brain works. And I don't want that to be the way my brain works. So like,
and that's my point is like,
I can do it, but I don't want to, you know, like that's the point. It's like anybody can do it, you know.
When I went to college, I wrote an essay and I won a scholarship. It took me 3 months to write the essay. Somebody else can write it in freaking 30 minutes. That's the difference. Right. It's not that you can or cannot. It's whether your faculty allows you to do things swiftly, easily, and smoothly.
Yep.
And that's my point is, like I told you yesterday, I told you, like, as a programmer, I didn't have to study. And I'm good at it because it just comes natural. Just like you have, it's like I said, I'm not good at programming because I made myself good. I'm good because I was given a gift. People are given a height, weight, physical ability, speed, a voice to sing, you know, a nice face, whatever. Those are gifts. You don't make yourself into those, right? But for me, as a programmer, I just like programming. I just dabble in it. I feel like I could do it, and it's so easy. Where I program on a calculator. I'm using calculator to make a program. I mean, a calculator is beyond its functionality. It's to do calculations, but I use a calculator to program. Right. The TI-85, TI-82, those are my
I hated
thing,
those
right?
stupid. They drive me nuts. Yeah.
I love those.
No, they drove me nuts. I hated it. I hate all things about the stuff that you like, which is okay because you hate all the things about the stuff that I like. But then there's the commonalities.
Is you have faculties that allows you to like the things, right?
Right.
So that means that you can't really be choosing something that you are not. You don't want to be hey, I need to go and become a mound builder like the termites. You don't want to be non-beaver if you're a beaver. So the theme continues in every single discussion. You have to find out who you are, and you're going to enjoy your life because of it. Don't say, hey, this thing that I did, it's fun, it's joyful, it's going to be joyful for you. I know for a fact that it is not, because I know people are going to hate doing what I do. And I know for a fact that I really hate some of the stuff that you do, because I'm not very good at it. I don't have the faculty to do that, right? For me to think on my feet, to find the right words is not something I can do easily. But, swim a circle around me all day long on these words or whatever, you can do that all day long. I can program all day long. You probably can do it for 15 minutes. You can say, this sucks.
I would hate it. No, I about had a meltdown 15 minutes ago or 2 hours ago when I was trying to do this HR training around harassment. And it was like this video that I couldn't go fast through. I had to watch it. And I was like, this is my nightmare. It's something I didn't care. I actually thought the user interface was pretty slick and the videos are nice, but I don't want to do this. I just don't care. So I'm just being forced to do something for somebody else to check somebody else's box and that
somebody else's timeline. That's never fun.
Drives me nuts. I wasted an hour of my life, and I will never remember it again. What a waste! You're spot on with what we've been talking about, and that's why I love these conversations. It helps me to further refine the thought in my own mind as I talk to you and we discuss this stuff. But it's the monotony collapses time and novelty unfolds it, right? When you're doing shit that you like, it's like always new, and there's always something new you want to explore, and there's always a new path you want to take. And it feels like time goes forever, right? I feel like you and I have been talking forever, but we've really only known each other for 2.5 years. I feel like your magical learning has been going on since I was 20 years old, but it's really only been 2.5 years,
The cycle between when we first start to now, there's so many ticks in between.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And say, there's a lot of time. You have
to,
from the beginning to end, you have one tick. Well, that's not. Hey, what do you remember? Well, I just remember this one thing. It's something.
Yeah, you're right.
Crazy happened that day.
Like 7th grade, I don't remember what happened in 7th grade, other than maybe a couple of my friends and I got in trouble doing some stupid shit or something like that, or I wrote the dress code or something. You know what I mean? I don't really remember anything that happened. So 7th grade to me is just like, well, basically
you don't exist.
was like well, I just went through K-8. I made some really good friends and we did some fun stuff together. We went to the Halloween stuff and some parties, but I don't remember anything from it other than the friends I met and the people that we connected on, other stuff, and the sports that I played outside of that, the stuff I actually really like to do. You're right. It's novelty unfolds time, like, and it feels like it goes on forever.
So I want to make sure we understand that, because novelty unfolds time, but novelty only comes from you beavering. What that means is that when you're beavering, you are aligning yourself to your core values. This is important because in your reflection, this is how you track. This is how you keep track of your time, is by values.
Yeah.
Like I say, it only unfolds for you because that's your value. And that's why I keep saying what I value is not your value.
Correct. Yeah.
I love to program. You hated it. You love to talk. I hate to talk. That's what I'm saying. That is the fundamental piece of ingredient we have to get right. If you are understanding what I'm saying, you are a beaver, then you must do the beavering. You cannot be foxing, you cannot do woofing, and you cannot do bearing, whatever animal you think you are.
Right.
Right. So it unfolds time because the novelty is only because I guarantee you, if you are as creative as Chris, it collapses time because your brain's gonna shut down. It's not a novelty for you, but it's actually a novelty for me. So that means that each one of us has our own core values, and only core values can unlock that novelty. And then novelty is what unfolds time.
Agreed.
The opposite will actually collapses it. Because I've taken public speaking before, and I don't remember anything.
Accounting, management 201 and management 200 at Purdue in my business management degree. No, I didn't have to take chemistry. Thank God, because it was literally a check the box activity. I just need to survive through this. I will do the absolute bare minimum to get the check mark box. I do not give a shit about managerial accounting or statistical business accounting. I just don't care. I don't fucking care. Somebody else that cares about it can design a program that I can run to get the numbers I need really fast and continue to do the stuff that I like. I don't care about these things. I don't remember a single thing. Okay, I remember something about a general ledger, like, of debits and credits. That's it. That was really digging deep. General ledger, debits and credits. That's literally all that I remember from 8 months of taking statistical and managerial accounting for stuff that I didn't even give a shit about. Like, I never used it. No, don't care. And, what a waste of time and money. I mean, I could have been doing so many other things when I was that age. Can you imagine if people that were in college age, they'd be Ryan Holiday, like I was telling you about yesterday. They'd be Ryan Holiday. Like, he was 19 and he found stuff that he liked to do and he did it. He wrote 3 books in 2 or 3 years and he kept exploring these things. And you're like, man, how do you do that at such a young age? Well, I don't know, but they found out like the stuff that we're talking about now. And I don't even know if they know it, if they were beavering on accident, if they were beavering on purpose. But damn, that's what happens when you unlock your values and you do it. It's just,
unintended.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing, All right, I know we're out of time. Any final thoughts for the day?
Keep your own timeline. That's important.
I only measure it by the values I do every single day.
I mean, you and I are saying the same thing because your timeline is your memory. Your memory is what you value. You don't remember anything that you don't value.
Right.
So you're saying the exact same thing I'm saying is your timeline is yours. My timeline is mine. So, right, it's your values that creates timeline. So yes, because either way, when I say keep your own timeline, well, the only way to keep your own timeline is measured by your values. You put your value in there as your marker, as your tick of your time cycles. And only then that you have your own timeline.
And when you see that you don't have any of your values lived in the course of a day, then you're like, shit.
You're running for train. My timeline. And that's
change.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you want to control when you do things. It's not about what you do, right? It's about when as well, because when it makes you anxious. Hey, why do I have to wait for the in line for the airport? Why do I have to wait in the airplane to get off? Somebody's delaying something, right?
Right.
Everybody I see is like, oh, we're delaying. Damn, why can't you have good service? Everybody is complaining because they're on someone else's timeline. And that's exactly why I'm saying is, you are on another person's timeline, not your own.
Yep. And you're living their values, and that's not good. Thanks for joining. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We will see you all on Monday.
Get back to it.
We'll see you soon.
Hey, Chris.